Right now, Bitcoin is at this critical Fibonacci level right here, this red line. The previous times we broke through this red line, there was an absolute explosion in price. 2016, at this critical red line, Fibonacci level, finally broke through. Huge explosion, more than 4x up to this critical blue line. 2020, finally broke through this red Fibonacci level. It was an absolute explosion in price. The most parabolic part of the cycle is when you break this red line. So the million-dollar question is, when will Bitcoin break this red line and have its most explosive part of the cycle? We're going to cover precisely when using the facts and the charts, but we have a problem. This red line, there's a lot of misinformation being spread like wildfire about this precise level, and we need to set the record straight with pure, cold, hard facts. Welcome, I'm Steve. Here we deliver honest, sponsorship-free TA with genuine value. Subscribe for a no BS approach that actually helps you. Subscribe. Let's get into it. We're on Bitcoin US dollar index, and we are on the monthly chart. And what we have in front of us is the Fibonacci retracement. And what we have at the bottom of our screen is the RSI on the monthly chart. So let's start with the Fibonacci retracement. We are clearly, currently, right now at this red line, right? What the Fibonacci retracement is you can go to your tools right here and type in Fibonacci retracement. You can click here. And what you want to do is go from the swing high, which is the highest price in Bitcoin, down to the swing low, the lowest price in Bitcoin. And what you'll do is set it up precisely like this. I have this box and this box, this box, this box, this box clicked, and I'm on the log scale, so I will go and click this one right here, and you'll have it set up precisely like this. Now, we've got to break it down, because if we look at it currently, right now, we're at this red line. A lot of misinformation about this red line. We've got to set the record straight, but the million-dollar question is, when are we going to break this red line? This is getting exciting, because once we break this red line, it is the most exciting part of every single market cycle. It's also the most explosive part of the market cycle. So let's set the record straight. What is the Fibonacci retracement? Well, the Fibonacci retracement helps traders look when to get into the market and when to get out of the market. It looks at the most confluence place in the market in terms of support and resistance, and it looks for major moves that are happening in the market. So case in point, 2016, 2020, 2024, they're all structured the same way. Every single bottom of the market happened below the 0.38 of the Fibonacci retracement, right? Case in point, 2016, bottom of the market, resistance at this green line here, the 0.38. The 2020 cycle, the bottom of the market was here, resistance at the 0.38. The 2024 cycle, the bottom of the market, resistance at the 0.38. Every single bottom of the market happens below this 0.38. This is an incredible tool that gives you information to stay level-headed. Everyone's focused on the day-to-day. Oh my God, Bitcoin's up, Bitcoin's down. There's a lot of stress and emotion. If you use this chart and these tools, you will remain level-headed. And everyone who is level-headed will make more money than the herd. All money in the history of mankind moves from impatient hands to patient hands. This will help you be patient. Tilt your phone to the side and subscribe. This chart right here will help you make a lot more money. And by the way, it's going to help you make substantial money, because we're going to cover in this video when we're going to break this red line, the key in the chart, the clue that we're going to look for. Because once we get above here, that is the most explosive part of every single bull run. And if you miss out on that, you're going to miss out on substantial gains. But let's take it one step further. We covered the bottom of the market happens below the 0.38. Phase one of the market is the breakthrough of the 0.38 into the top here. It starts to hold support at the 0.38 instead of resistance, right? So the bottom of the market, resistance at 0.38. Phase one of the bull, when the bull actually starts, it builds structure directly on top of the 0.38. It did so in 2016. 2020, phase 1 was the breakthrough of this 0.38 in holding support above the 0.38, right? 2024, we had the bottom of the market below the 0.38, and phase 1 of the bull happened to be a breakthrough of the 0.38 and holding structure, holding support at this critical market structure here. Now, this is where it gets exciting, because phase 2 is the move from that structure holding support here up to this blue line, right? The blue line in our case is right here, the 0.78 on the log scale. So the 0.78 on the log scale represents a resistance zone. That phase 2 moves into that resistance zone. 2016, that's precisely what it did. 2020, that's precisely what it did. Phase 2 is right here. It moved from this market structure support into our resistance zone of this blue line. 2024, that's precisely what it did. We held support here and we moved into this blue zone as resistance. That is phase 2. So phase 2 is when the market is getting a little bit hotter. It's starting to build some confluence. It's starting to build market structure, and people are starting to really pay attention to the run. Now, this is where it gets very exciting, because we break this blue line that represents phase 3 of the bull. This is when things get very, very hot, and this is when we really flirt with our all-time high, right? So you can see this break of the blue line happened here, and it moved into the red line. That is that phase 3. That is representative of the all-time high, right? So this red line is resistance at the all-time high, and this phase 3 is the move from here up to this red line, right? And that's the key. Once we break the red line, that is the most explosive move of every single bull run, right? Every single bull run has this rally. What we didn't have in our previous one was the move above this blue line. That's called the blow off top. We didn't have a blow off top in 2020, and we'll talk about why as we continue in this video. But make no mistake, this move above the red line here into the blue line is the most parabolic part of every single cycle. Now, when we look at it, and we look at it through a different lens. And by the way, a little bit later in the video, I'm going to cover the latest on the 5.3. Do I still believe in it? What is my latest and greatest with the 5.3? But as we stand here, you want to remain level-headed. You never want to get too emotional on the way up. You never want to get too sad on the way down. You want to remain level-headed. That's why you follow my channel. If you haven't done so already, you hit the subscribe button. I will keep you level-headed with pure cold hard facts from the bigger picture of Bitcoin. So you're not getting stressed out. Oh my God, Bitcoin is up, and then tomorrow it's down, and then the next day it's up, and then tomorrow, and then the next day it's down. That is what the herd is doing. They're overreacting to every single move in Bitcoin. But if you just use this chart, and you followed me for years as we covered this chart way back in 2018, in 2019, we covered this chart every single step of the way in the previous cycle. And here we are now in this current cycle, following it every single step of the way. You hit the subscribe button, I will keep you level-headed. Now, this is where it gets interesting, right? When you look at it and you understand, we're going to compare our RSI on the bottom of our screen into the Fibonacci, right? We're basically comparing the two, looking for confluence and looking for signs. So the RSI, what I want you to remember about the RSI is it's overbought and oversold, meaning when we're up here on the monthly RSI above this 80 level, we're incredibly overbought. When we're down here, you know, below the 40 level, we're incredibly oversold. Unfortunately, everybody buys at the top, right? They overbuy here at the top. They overbought here at the top. They overbought here at the top. And everybody is selling near the bottom when we're below the 0.38. That's when it's the most sold. Tilt your phone to the side and subscribe, meaning the most humans on planet Earth are selling when we're literally at the bottom. That's because the herd is always overreacting to the day-to-day. They're not following charts like this, right? They're just overreacting. They're emotional beings. And money always, in the history of mankind, moves from impatient hands to patient hands. In the history of mankind, this is held true, right? So you look at it, this is the most oversold in the history of Bitcoin. Then we get to the next cycle, the most oversold below the 0.38. Then we get to the next cycle, the most oversold below the 0.38, right? It happens time and time again. And when we look at it, the RSI is at a range from 0 to 100. Okay. On the monthly chart, we've never reached anywhere near the 0 point. However, what we can see, plain view right in front of us, is that every single cycle we're dipping lower and lower with the monthly RSI. Case in point, right here, the lowest level in 2015 was at 44. The lowest level in 2019 was at 43. The lowest level in 2022 was at 40. So we're just dipping down slightly each cycle bottom. Whereas at the top of the cycle, we're actually doing the same. What we have in front of us are parallel channels, the red at the top and the red at the bottom, representative of the market cycle tops and the market cycle bottoms. However, the bad news is they're parallel channels pointing downwards, right? So our market cycle top hasn't been as hot. Our market cycle bottoms are a little bit lower. We, at the top of the cycle, we're less and less overbought. And at the bottom of the cycle, we're more and more oversold. Okay, so it's parallel channels pointing down. Now, we can use this to our advantage. When we use the RSI on the monthly scale and we look at each phase, it can help us understand when we're going to move to the next phase. When we understand when we're going to move to the next phase, then we can make substantial gains. Precisely when we're going to move above this red line. As stated, if you look at all of the candles in front of you, you say, okay, that's the bottom, that's phase 1, this is phase 2, this is phase 3, this is phase 4. Which cycle do you think is the most parabolic? You don't have to be a math genius to understand this phase right here is the most parabolic. Now, why? Why is that the case? Well, once we get above this red Fibonacci level, it opens the floodgates. And that's when the market goes parabolic for the first time in the whole bull run. This bull run has tremendous gains, right? Throughout phase 1, phase 2, into phase 3, great gains, phenomenal gains. But the floodgates open when we pass this red Fibonacci level. Make no mistake about it. Same in 2020. Once we finally passed this red line, we went absolutely parabolic. This was the biggest gains that the market cycle had to offer, was precisely this range here. So if we look closer at it, we had a distinct advantage to understand when we were going to move above this blue line. We covered it in so many videos. What we studied and what we noticed was Bitcoin doesn't move above this blue line until we get above this range here in the monthly RSI. This range is the white range on the middle of your chart in the RSI. We're talking about the high of the range at about 72.5 and the low of the range is at about 67. In other words, once Bitcoin has the RSI on the monthly chart get above 72.5, that's when we move into phase 3. It happened precisely on this candle in December 2016, and that's precisely when the RSI got above this 72.5. Fast forward to 2020, we're met with resistance at this blue line for a whole bunch of months, and everybody's wondering, hey, when are we finally going to get above here? Well, it was precisely when the RSI moved above that range, that 72.5. It happened precisely on the candle here, November 2020. Once we got to November 2020, the RSI finally got above that range. That's when we moved into phase 3. So we were watching that level like a hawk. Like, okay, we're met with some resistance at this blue line. When are we going to get above here? Everyone was wondering. Well, it was precisely when we got above that 72.5. It was this candle right here in February of 2024. The move above that blue line into phase 3. Now, we did get a little early warning sign from the legendary Traders Dynamic Index. If you're not familiar with the Traders Dynamic Index, we've been using that to our advantage for the entirety of the bear market and the move from the bear market into the bull. It helped us correctly predict the bottom of the market. It helped us correctly predict phase 1, phase 2, and it gave us a very early warning sign of phase 3. In the early days of February 1st, 2nd, 3rd, we had this red line move above here. And if you look at the past, whenever we had the red line move above, that represented phase 3. So we got a very early warning sign. However, it's a monthly chart and we have to be disciplined traders. We have to understand that that's an early warning sign, but we need it to confirm. At the end of the month of February, it did confirm that we are in fact in phase 3. So here we are and we're looking at it. And the $1 million question is, when are we going to get above this red line? What is the trigger? What is the warning sign that we are about to get above here? And by the way, what is all the misinformation about this red line? So the misinformation is being spread like wildfire. We have to get to that. I have to set the record straight, but let's break it down. This red line of the Fibonacci level, right? So we talked about getting into phase 3 was a break of this zone here. Getting into phase 4, or the most parabolic part of the phase, is getting above this yellow line. Take a look. 2016, we broke into phase 3 when we finally got above this 72.5. We broke into phase 4 when we finally got above this level, which is at 80, precisely like 80.3. Once we finally got above 80.3, on the monthly RSI, we finally broke into that parabolic, legendary phase 4 that everybody is going to be salivating about. This legendary phase 4 is remarkably powerful. The market moves very, very quickly. In a very short amount of time, Bitcoin in 2016 more than 4x'd its price. Case in point, as soon as we got above this yellow line here at about 80.3, that was the move. 2020, we're looking at that level, right? When are we going to enter this parabolic phase? Well, it happened precisely at this level. December 2020, finally getting above this yellow line here and also above this red line in the Fibonacci, which represented the most parabolic phase of Bitcoin. So we look forward to present day, 2024. We're right here on the monthly RSI. Currently, right now, live, 75.4. We need Bitcoin on the monthly chart to go from 75.4 above this level, which is at about 80.3. Once it does, that will represent the most parabolic phase of Bitcoin, phase 4 of the market cycle. The market cycle moves very, very quickly and is remarkably powerful during that phase. But we won't get there until Bitcoin gets above here on the monthly RSI, according to the facts in the charts. But now let's get to the misinformation about this red line, and we'll get to the 5.3 theory. If you haven't done so already, and you're new to the channel, first and foremost, welcome in. Hit that subscribe button. I will keep you level-headed with cold hard facts through this market cycle. Now, the misinformation about this red line. All over my comments. And by the way, I don't watch any other YouTuber on purpose. I don't want to be influenced. Even my subconscious brain, I don't want to be influenced with anything anybody is ever saying about the charts. But I do look at our comments to understand the pulse of our community. And so many, like hundreds and hundreds of comments were saying, oh my God, Steve, we reached a new all-time high. What should we do now? And I'm looking at the charts. I study the charts 7 days a week. I'm looking at the charts and I'm like, what are they talking about? This is the Bitcoin US dollar index. This is the chart we've been using for years and years and years. This is the Gaussian channel. So everybody wanted me to also update on the Gaussian channel. Let's first talk about price action. Price action right here in present day got up here, right? At just over like 69,166, right? That was precisely the level that we got to here in November 2021 on the Bitcoin US dollar index. It's literally the exact level. So I don't know how people are saying all over the comments, oh my God, we reached a new all-time high. We reached a new all-time high. This is the chart we've been following for years, Bitcoin US dollar index. I say it on every single video. Look at this. Now, if we go to even a different chart, this is Bitstamp here. Bitstamp, you look at the high of 2021, it's the exact high of right now. There's been no new all-time high. I don't know what charts people are looking at or where this information is coming from and why it's being spread like wildfire. We have not reached a new all-time high. There's no evidence in the chart, and all of the charts that I study, that we've reached a new all-time high. Maybe on a different chart, maybe on a different platform, I don't know. But all of the charts that I study, and the charts that I've been studying for a year, there's been no new all-time high. Case in point, the whole video, the premise of it, this red line is literally representative of the all-time high. It's quite literally the Fibonacci level is 1, meaning 1 is the previous swing high, right? This previous swing high, in other words, is the previous all-time high. 1 is literally that level. And you can't break 1 until you get above here on the monthly RSI. And literally, unless your eyes are broken when you're looking at this, are we above this red line? No, the red line is representative of the all-time high. So quite literally, we're not above this red line. Unless you're on some crazy drugs. If so, man, more power to you. But we're not above this red line. There's no way, shape, or form that we're above this red line right now. We're not. So I just wanted to set the record straight. Does that mean we can't reach an all-time high? No, we're just not there yet. We have to take a breath, okay? So when are we going to get above this red line? We're going to get above this red line when the RSI on the monthly scale gets above here. Now to the 5.3 theory. So if you guys are not familiar with my 5.3 theory, you can go look back at previous videos, but essentially we take a mathematical equation, we look at all of the market cycles that were previous, and we look at where the market cycle is projected to get. It's a remarkable theory that projects out when the next market cycle top will be. And the market cycle top projected was at about 79. I want to set the record straight. If we're getting close to the all-time high, I'm not going to close my eyes and say, oh my God, it's 79. Don't even look at the charts. That would be silly beyond belief. But what I will do is what I've done in every single market cycle top. I will study, there's about 7 or 8 charts that I respect the hell out. If we're getting close to the all-time high, I look for confluence, meaning close to the market cycle top of the 5.3 theory, which is at about 79. If we're getting close to that 79, and I see confluence in these 7 or 8 charts that I respect the hell out of, and those charts are also saying, hey, we're near a market cycle high, then I will call that we're near a market cycle high. If we get near 79, and those 7 or 8 charts that I study are screaming, we're not at the top yet, I will come out and say, we're not at the top yet. There's no exact number of 79. Close your eyes. Don't even look at anything else. Only sell at 79. No, I would never do that. None of my students would ever do that. No professional trader would ever do that. That's not even in the realm of possibilities in a trader's mind. What we want to do is look for confluence, right? So right now, we're not near this 79 number, and we don't have confluence yet. So we still have work to do, okay? So that's the update on the 5.3 theory. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you right back here in the next video. This bull run is our road to 500,000 subscribers, but I need your help. Today, tell one person about our YouTube channel, how we spit facts, go against the herd, take no paid sponsorships of any kind. Road to 500,000, let's go.